Yeah, Mike Lemon with Art's Corner, where we talk to Art McFadden, cyber cop and security engineer at ISTT, about different topics. And today's topic is going to be on security measures. Now, Art, there's different types of security measures, right?
Yeah, we're going to boil it down to two major categories.
And when most people think of cybersecurity measures, most people are thinking about things that happen back in a server room with a couple of people who are typing on computers. But it goes well beyond that, right?
Yeah, before we even worry about that server room, we're going to look at physical security. What good is it to have the best, greatest network with the best, prevention mechanisms in place if you leave the front door to the office building open and the wind blows open and everybody in the world can see that the front door is open, there's nobody there, there's no cameras, the lights are off, and you can walk right in and grab all the computer stuff you want. It kind of defeats the purpose.
Kind of defeats it. It
Yeah.
does. So get into the cybersecurity stuff as far as the measures go, as far as the physical side.
Well, the physical side, examples would be like cameras, locks, doors that are locked within the building. So an office that's locked, or that server room that's locked within a building. Don't use cheap doors. Don't use cheap locks. Is it being recorded? How are you documenting who goes into what building? So that's on the physical side.
Wait, are you talking about documenting again?
Yeah.
Kind of a big documenter, aren't you?
Anybody in cybersecurity? Yeah. It's just the
Love
way
to
it is.
document.
Yeah.
Love it.
Hey, Mike, we were both detectives. We know all about writing out
Oh
reports,
yeah,
don't we? Yeah, we wrote one or two in our time.
no
So
doubt.
then on the cybersecurity side of things, then we got several things to worry about there as well. And the first one I want to do is software. First of all, you should not be able to add and remove software when you sit down at a computer. That means you have admin rights. That's dangerous. Only people who are required to add and remove software should have that type of account, and they should only use it when they're required to do that. So the other thing about software is, what do you have on your machines? Is it work related? iTunes is work related, and you're a physician? You want to explain that one to me? There may be a legitimate reason, but I'd want to hear it. And I'd want someone to sign off on it that says, iTunes is required for my job. That's fine. Once again, I'm going to document it because I'm going to protect myself. So
So
having a
so
list of
you're telling me,
acceptable.
Art, that I can't listen to my Spotify and I can't get on Facebook and watch all the funny cat videos. Is that what you're telling me?
Unless it's part of your job duties. Now, if you're a marketing person, you need to be on Facebook. You probably need to have all those things. But you're a physician, and on your individual machine.
Maybe it's the mental health side of things. They're very stressed. Things going on. Funny cat videos make it just warm the heart and make things better.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll write that memo out next. I'll get right on that one. So we got our software that we talked about. We only want to put stuff on there. My favorite enemy is WeatherBug. Okay, well, that should never
Everywhere.
be on machines. Period. And several other ones like that. If you need to check the weather, pull your cell phone out, look at the weather, and then go on with life. If it's not required, I have a hard time putting it on a work machine. Uh, so that's software, but no matter what software we put on this machine, we need to update it. And Mike, we don't just need to update all of our programs, like Adobe Reader, a very legitimate program, right?
Hmm.
People read medical reports all the time. This is not a program that we need to argue about. Yeah, it's needed. Okay, but we need to update it. We need to update the software. We need to update the anti-malware that we've talked about before. And we need to update the operating system. I don't care if it's a Linux or a Mac or whatever it is. And we need to be able to go to one place and one place only to check up on the status of all those. If you have a computer, Mike, over at your office right now, and it's one I'm responsible for, I should be able to pull up a website or pull up a mechanism and find out the last time you saw a virus, what you did with it. Is your operating system up to date? Is your software up to date? Why not? And what should I do about it? I shouldn't have
So
to
so
physically tuck that machine.
explain the problem of doing it one by one or having to go actually to the desktop to do these updates or these checks.
Two huge disadvantages of the way we did things 10, 20 years ago, somewhere in there. One, you're walking around. You're one human being, or you're one individual, or you're individuals, and you're manually doing this. That we have too many good tools out there now that can save us a lot of time. The second biggest problem with that method of the old school way of is the reporting aspect. If you get hit with a virus, Mike, and I'm on the other side of Bowling Green, I should know about it. There's no way I'm going to know about it unless I have this mechanism in place for reporting, unless I walk up to your machine and look at it. That's not functional, is it? What if you're on the other side of the country and you're a remote user? We've been
Right. So
talking a lot of.
if one of those machines in your office, in your facility, is infected, and you're not going to know about it until you actually physically go to that machine. There's a lot of damage that can be done in your company before you figure out about it, compared to like what you use with ICT, what you've used here, where as soon as I walk in the door, because my phone hits, or if I add a new machine or a new phone to the network, I'm getting a call from you within about 2 minutes saying, "Hey, you at the office?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big brother, I'm at the office. But it's so needed though, because time is really money, and the more time you allow these people who have this nefarious needs to get in there and steal things from you, whether it's money, whether it's accounts, you know, all these different things, the more time they have in your network not being monitored, not being discovered, the more damage that they can do.
Yep. And we need to get that information back instantaneously. An hour is not acceptable. We're talking about we need moments to find
And let
out
me
about
ask
it.
you about this. What about especially with today's, the mobility of the workforce, and more and more people having laptops, working from laptops, working from home. They're traveling, they're moving around. How big of an issue is encryption on those devices?
It's no longer an option. Uh, you and I both know there's enough information on our cell phones to cause an identity theft and then some, right?
All right.
So we want those devices encrypted. And we talked about this before. I want you to be able to not just encrypt your device, I want you to be able to locate it remotely, and I want you to be able to destroy the information on it remotely. When it comes to things like laptops, tablets, like especially some of the more popular tablets that are actually a two-in-one, or a regular desktop workstation, it's got to be encrypted. And Mike,
Kind of explain to somebody what encryption is. Not the zeros and ones and going into Shaw and all that other stuff that unfortunately we had to go through in some of our training. But
right.
explain to the person who's like, I've heard of encryption, but what really is it? What does it do?
Okay, so I'm going to use a specific item. I'm going to use a laptop, and I'm going to use that as my example. That laptop requires you to put a password in when you log on to it. That password's just preventing you from going through the front door of the operating system. That's what that password stops. What we can do is go around the front door, go in the side door, and still get the data. And to tell you how simple it is, and we may do a demonstration on this, Mike, we can take a Linux operating system on a USB thumb drive. Take a thumb drive, it's got an operating system on it, stick it inside the machine, boot to that, and I just walked around your password on your computer. And I've got everything on that machine. Now, if that machine's encrypted, I went around that front door password, right? I went in through the side door. I'm still done, because that information that's in that house, even though I went through the side door and avoided the front door, it's in a format that I need a special key to get into it. The password alone is not going to cut it. So if that laptop is not encrypted, you've got some serious issues, and that's just not for HIPAA. The good thing now is, though, Windows has got BitLocker built into the Professional, a few other variants of their operating systems. 8 and 10, of course, we're not going to talk about 7, because 7 is end of life. It's a dead product.
Don't even mention it to you, right?
Yeah, don't even. 7 XP. You might as well put Windows 95 on a network. I'm going to react the same way. But anyway, the good news is these are acceptable encryption techniques. It's built into Windows in the Professional series. There's no reason why we should not take advantage of it. Mike, you and I have talked about different cases we've had, and I'll end on this note. I had a case several years ago, or not several years ago, a few years ago, had an insurance agent, had his laptop stolen out of his car, and he was debating on whether he needed to report it, not just to law enforcement, but because there was confidential information on there, including healthcare. And I explained to him that that password was worthless. And first of all, it wasn't even a strong password. He told me what it was. And that is not something that can protect you. So I took him back to my office, grabbed a test demo machine that was not encrypted, bypassed it, showed him there was a password on it, bypassed it, and then convinced him he needed to report it. When he reported it, they told him that that was absolutely correct. That password did not count as encryption the way it was set up. Now, if it's done correctly, could he have just typed in a password and it still be encrypted? Absolutely, but it's got to be set up correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple to bypass those passwords, and as simple as you went through the Linux side of it. What I would have done, or what I do, is just pull the hard drive out, about $10 worth of cords, hook it up to your computer, and a couple free softwares, and you're looking at it just like you're looking, as it's on the computer. So really access to everything, even stuff that you may not be able to see because it's hidden on there. So encryption is definitely key. So we'll wrap up with that. Art, thanks for talking to me today.
Thanks, Mike.
And we're with Art's Corner, where we're making cybersecurity simple for you.